just the night. I have a confession to make. I have never played Hollow Knight, despite everyone telling me how good it is and that I'd love it, and even owning it on several different platforms. I've just never made the time to play it yet. But that changes tonight. With Silksong's release, I figured now is as good a time as ever to finally break that Hollow Knight duck of mine. In today's video, I'm exploring Hollow Knight for the very first time. It's worth mentioning now that I have next door to zero knowledge about what goes on in Hollow Knight, I mean, beyond the promotional material. Really, all I do know about it is that it seems pretty dark and moody, and there's a little guy and he sits on a bench, and I've also been warned it's hard. Not the bench, I'm sure that's pretty sturdy, but I meant difficulty wise. In fact, when I've brought this game up in my Discord before, I've been told in no uncertain terms to expect an ass kicking. So I guess, for the record, that's all I'm really expecting here. A hard time and a little guy on a slightly bigger bench. Oh, and it's a Metroidvania. I know that too, because I love Metroidvanias. It'd be easy to assume that I wouldn't really have anything worth mentioning until I actually started playing the game, but to my surprise, Hollow Knight already had me thinking before I'd even hit record on OBS. I'm talking, of course, about the menu. Many games have menus that go on to have some sort of significance once you've beaten them. Some of them even change throughout your playthrough, and yet with Hollow Knight's menu, the game was already having an impact on me before I'd even started. Visually, the menu is nice enough, sure, but that's not really what caught me. It was the music. Remember when I said that I thought the game seemed pretty dark and moody? Well, immediately, this wasn't what I was expecting. It's dark, sure, but it's not moody. It's honestly quite pretty, but it's also terribly sad. It feels thick, yet weightless, like a gas filling my body, flowing through me as if my bones and muscles aren't even there. Or maybe, as if I'm hollow.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
I mean, usually, starting a game for the first time, you'd feel excited. But here, I couldn't tell if I was sad or if I even had room in me left for any feeling at all. After pressing start, the game only doubles down on that front, with a melancholic poem that felt as much a prophecy of tragedy as it did a prophecy of purpose, and an opening cutscene that establishes Hollow Knight's visual identity. I'd seen the art style in promotional material, but never in motion. Never with the music and visuals working together, and in that context, it feels kinda depressing. Like, it's a beautiful art style, but like the music, it carries with it a sort of sadness. It's like the game is continually echoing the idea that there is no beauty without sadness at me from all angles, and honestly, once this little guy fell to the ground, I didn't really know whether I even wanted to move him or not. I just sort of stared at the screen for a while, feeling what undoubtedly were feelings. I think. I didn't even really know at this point. Eventually, I found the bravery, or maybe just the purpose, to continue, as the game taught me the basic controls and mechanics before I entered Dirtmouth for the first time. That first walk through Dirtmouth was honestly vitally important when it comes to my mindset as a player, because Dirtmouth is your introduction to NPCs within the game. In any other game, NPCs might for the most part seem unimportant, or you might even simply look past them being there because you just expect them there. But here, I felt an overwhelming sense of relief. All these feelings that I'd been feeling so far, they'd be so much more difficult alone. And this sort of felt like the game putting a friendly hand on my shoulder and telling me, don't worry, you won't be. It was strangely comforting, honestly. Then, dropping down the well and exploring more of Hallownest for the first time, I began to realise through the ruined landscapes and statues that this is somewhat of a post-apocalyptic setting. The world is full of post-apocalyptic games where the world has ended and you're forced to find the little beauty still left in it, but this feels different. And I think it's because to me, this world, unlike other post-apocalyptic settings, isn't dead. It's dying. It's clearly nothing like it once was, but it's not dead yet. It feels like a world that is frozen in time on its last breath. A world that has resigned itself to its own end, but not necessarily ended. And that thought sort of reframed all these melancholic feelings I've been talking about. Suddenly the sadness, the depression I've described, began to take on a different name. It was grief. It might be grieving forwards, this world isn't dead yet, but it's grief nonetheless. And suddenly that hollow feeling made so much sense. I felt this way before with grief of my own, it's familiar. And yet, that poses an interesting thought to me. Because in these early hours, I don't really know what it is I'm grieving. I don't know Hallownest yet, I don't understand what it once was, I don't know what I've lost. And yet the game still manages to make me mourn for it anyway. It sort of feels a bit like seeing old footage or images for something you never actually experienced, and yet you feel nostalgic for it nonetheless. It's like missing something you never actually had. It was around this time that I heard the hum of Cornifer for the first time, and the heaviness of that loss subsided a little. After playing through more of the game, it's clear to me that Hallownest is full of characters like Cornifer. Little signs of life residing in the nooks and crannies of this land, a lot of them easily missable if you're not taking the time to speak to them. But the majority of them aren't hiding, they're living. Going about their business, whatever that may be, whether it's Cornifer making his maps, Mirabelle running a bank, the last stag providing transport, or Quirrell and Zote simply embarking on their respective quests. This world might have stopped and resigned itself to ruin, but these characters didn't. Instead, they carried on, and there's something remarkably beautiful about that. As you're travelling through the loss that the ruins of Hallownest present, if you're willing to give them the time, there are these signs of life everywhere just begging to be engaged with. And so long as you do, you'll discover you're not alone, and that there's still beauty in this land in those that inhabit it. I mentioned at the beginning that it felt like the game was echoing the idea that there is no beauty without sadness, but that's come to carry more importance now. There's also no life without loss, and Hallownest seems to stand as a representation of that. I continued venturing deeper into this world with a refreshed mindset, no longer one made up entirely of grief and loss, but rather one of pursuing the love and beauty still left here. I fought some of the early bosses, encountered Hornet for the first time, explored new landscapes, and even encountered some kind of dream realm. You guys were right, by the way, this game is tough, and many of the bosses have repeatedly turned me to sludge. But this game, in my opinion, tackles difficulty the same way as Elden Ring, a game I adore. It's brutal because it's punishing, but not because it's unfair. It's simple mistakes that get me killed in Hollow Knight, and in my experience that doesn't put me off the game, in fact it only spurs me on more. There's always room for continuous improvement, and that, coupled with the abilities and upgrades you pursue throughout your journey, make the difficulty more of a motivator in the quest to get better at the game in order to explore more of the beauty of it. Wow, that was a lot of words. My bad. I've picked up the Dream Nail now, and that's where I'm leaving it. For now. I wanted to beat the game so I could talk about more of it, but I've been taken aback a little by how much I've resonated with what I've played so far. And I don't really think this is the kind of game I want to rush through. You know, it's not lost on me that one of the ways you heal in this game is by resting on a bench. Taking a break, taking your time. And in a video game that, to me, feels like it's dealing with loss and love and grief and beauty and maybe even the fact that all of those might just be different words for the same thing, I want to take my time and experience that. Feel it. So for now, these are just my first impressions on Hollow Knight, a game I put off trying for 8 years. And I'll be back with a part 2 when I've seen all that Hallownest has to offer, and eventually, hopefully, to talk about Silksong too. I think Team Cherry have pulled off a masterstroke here. I mean, the gameplay is incredibly addicting, but more importantly, this world and those that inhabit it are brimming with meaning, intent, and purpose. In a world where a lot of games feel designed simply for monetary gain, a development team so obviously creating with purpose in mind is something vitally important to the industry as a whole. Before I finish, I just want to say that I experienced a loss unlike anything I've ever experienced before last year, and that pain hasn't really gone away. But I think what I've realised is that maybe it isn't pain at all. It's just love. It's all love. And the love isn't gone from this world. It might feel like it sometimes, but if you look for it, you can find it again. And I guess I'm just grateful to Hollow Knight for helping me come to terms with that, even if I was 8 years late to the party. Thank you so much for watching this video, and sorry things have taken so long, and sorry things got so heavy. I've really enjoyed my time with this game so far, and it's resonating a lot more than I originally thought it would. Things look a little different around here, and maybe I should address that. I wanted to add a bit more creativity and personality to my videos, so I've been learning Blender, and I've only been learning for a week, so forgive the mistakes, but I'm learning with each video and I hope it makes them more fun to watch. Alright, where was I? Subscribe? Please?